just had a story in a Demm report about a guy who was at the Seminole Casino in Florida outside Tampa, and he was gambling, and he won $53,000.
He did not know when to run.
No, he did not.
He walked away.
He walked away, know when to run.
You got to know when.
Apparently, he knew when to hold them.
Yep.
And knew when to fold them.
That part was good.
This is the party screwed up.
Walk away and know when to run.
He should have run.
He didn't suspect that.
He didn't suspect. So he won $53,000, and he started walking out with his bag of cash and was hit from a criminal. Criminal stole his money, he chased him down, got all but $10,000 back. And somebody said, wait a minute now. Can't you put that money on your debit card? I said, let's start a business where you take that money, you put it in your debit card. You put it into your bank account. Because who would want cash? Who would want to carry $50,000 out of a casino? And Dave said, well, maybe you want to be a player. Maybe you want to get out there. And then Chris Demm said, maybe it's about taxes. And I said, well, I know everything there is to know about casinos.
I know a little bit about gambling. I've been to Vegas.
And believe you me, they have you fill out paperwork when you win $53,000. Now we have...
To the phones?
To the phones we go.
Yeah, so if it's a slot machine only and it's over $1,200, that's when they give you the tax form and everything's documented. If it's a table game and you've got actual chips, you can have as much cash as you want and it's not going to be taxed.
Well, that's it. That's the whole reason the guy would walk out of there with cash like that. So my blustering,
all for naught.
Obviously it's taxed, is 100% wrong.
Only if it's a slot machine and it's over $1,200.
Justin, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye. Okay, so is that the thing I've bloviated about most while being wrong? I mean, I'm wrong about a lot of stuff.
A lot.
But then I really went out there. It's like, of course they tax you. Of course you have to fill out paperwork.
Not naive.
You just won $53,000. It does seem they'd want their, the government want their slice out of that. And that would be the whole reason they'd walk out of there risking a robbery for $53,000. You just take that.
I wonder how many winners get rolled. I mean, you hear it you hear it often.
But let me ask you this. Well, yes. Let me ask you this. If I've won $50,000 and then I go and deposit it into my, let's say I walk out with it, but then later I take it to my bank and put it in, is the government ever going to know about that? That I've put it into, they don't check your bank account.
If you get audited.
But they're so far behind.
They're still clearing the books of alcohol.
There
are some that are audited more often than others.
I think large transactions are flagged automatically, right?
I think banks
they are
too.
Okay, so if I put $50,000 in,
I mean, you won't have access to it for a while.
They flag it,
right?
I don't know.
Oh, I think cash, you have access to it immediately. If it's a check, you may not.
I don't know.
So within a couple hours or a day, I would have access to that. But it would be flagged, so you think the government might look at it.
Them or the FDIC or whoever monitors that stuff.
And now the IRS has an additional 87,000 agents or whatever they're going to hire.
But they're so far behind.
Yes.
That's what I'm always told. My accountant, and I'm not going to mention any names, often says, I'm going to do a little something here on your refund.
I need you to step outside the room for just 2 minutes.
Yeah. And then he says, they're so far behind over there. They ain't going to look at this. They're not going to see this. Yeah. That's what they say. I don't know about taxes and stuff.
So we're getting a pool.
Remember that pool you wanted?
Yada, 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 pool. Salt water.
CJ, you're talking about taxed gambling winnings, and is it taxed or is it not? Go ahead.
Yes, all income derived in the United States of America is taxable regardless of its source. Even if you sell drugs, it's still reportable. I have a master's degree in accounting, so I should know this.
Okay.
Good.
But you don't always report it, right? You're relying on people to report their own winnings.
Yes, it is up to the person that earned the money to report their winnings.
Okay, so what I said to Chris Demm was 100% wrong when I said, obviously, the casino keeps track of it. They don't. They don't do that. It's up to you. Let me ask you. So if you win cash, $50,000 in cash, and I put it a day later, I go and take it to the bank and deposit it, are any red flags raised? Would the FDIC, would the IRS know about this?
Maybe, maybe not. Depends on the casino. Sometimes they report the cash winnings, sometimes they don't, but it's up to always the person that earned the income to report it on their tax return. Whether or not they're faithful about it is up to them.
Okay, that makes some sense.
How far behind are the IRS in your opinion?
They're about 20 million returns behind, but they threw away a bunch of paper returns. So they're starting to slowly phase out paper returns now. So it's all going to be electronic soon.
I'm doing paper
they're just
next
like
year.
us.
Paper, right? Yeah, just
They're
like
getting
us.
new technology.
That's right. I told you. I told you they're behind.
You and the IRS.
I told you
Sell it
about
on paper? Don't worry about that.
it. Thank you,
You got the
CJ.
paper in front of you.
That's
You're
all I
paper
do.
man.
I'm all paper.
You're a paper man.
I print everything. That's right. Because when this gets hacked, look who's got paper.
Yeah.
I have the grid right here. When I won on Wheel of Fortune,
Right.
this was 1997.
These are $97, so factor that in.
That's right. They sent me a check for what I won, 11,000 some odd dollars. But he said, of course, this will be taxed. You know, it goes into my bank account. But it was reported. I had to fill out a 10 whatever before I even started.
And the studio?
Yes, you had to fill out all that paperwork at Wheel of Fortune, so they knew.
California taxes or North Carolina taxes?
That's a good question. They took out a bunch. I know that.
Maybe both.
Might have been California tax. Yeah, it might have been both.
I don't know how they do that.
I didn't get nearly as much as they took a big bite out of it. I'll tell you that.
What'd you spend most of that money on? Do you remember, Kelly?
Still have it.
All right.
Put it right in the savings account.
Pine needles, I heard.
You know? That's in Jaquan Davies' head there. My God.
That's Wheel of Fortune money.
Right to
Pine
Jaquan.
needles and pickleballs.
That's right.
Yeah. Sounds like consonants and vowels.
Boy, that's a big word. Jaquan Davies. Jaquan Davies landscape. That's a good puzzle.
Yeah. That is. Finish the
Q.
There is a Q.
There's like 3 Qs now. How odd.
Yeah, see, it's a thief.
Is there a U? No, you.
No, you. What? It's a you.
Ben, you're talking about bank deposits, and does it raise any red flags with the IRS? Go ahead.
Anytime $10,000 or more is deposited, it raises the red flag, and then they send that paperwork off to the IRS.
Okay.
The banks do that.
The banks. Okay.
The banks the money back to make sure that it's real before they cut it loose.
Okay.
Or they do it to the state IRS, whatever your state.
Is that right? You think that's right?
I would think that the state would get their cut first before the federals.
You've been wrong before, Dave.
And you have. I tell you what, though.
Let me tell you what.
State's been hitting me worse than federal.
Let me tell you about the state.
Goodbye, saltwater pool. I guess it's chlorine after all.
Yeah.
State's been hitting me like
Just let them walk down the way and go to the pool. The state, don't matter. If you're going to cheat somebody, cheat the federal.
They're behind.
They're
shredding paper.
They don't know.
State's caught up.
Yeah.
Federal's behind.
Yeah, state does come after you quicker.
The federal.
You know.
I can speak on tax trouble.
Tell you what.
Yeah, state, they are like pit bulls.
Yes.
Yeah.
My tax guy told me don't ever mess with the state.
Pay the state.
State will get you.
Yeah, the federal, they're still back in the
They have
teens.
their own prison system.
They're still back in 1819.
Yeah, state. And they'll send you to state prison. They'll send you to the state pen.
Don't want to go there.
I think it's because they don't have nearly as many people to keep up with in the state. Federal's like, look at all these people. I mean, there's a ton of us out here now. But state, they get you worse.
Yeah, they do.
They'll hit you. I really appreciate all that information. The point is, if we re-air this, know from the beginning, I'm wrong on everything.
Is it possible?
I'm wrong on everything I've said.
You know me when it comes to technology, but kind of referring to that, what you just brought up, Kelly. This new technology that we have is supposed to be cutting edge radio.
100% right.
Could that correct your mistake before it happens?
Boy.
It should know. Do you think it'll just
DJ in error. DJ is in error. What you're hearing is not true.
Do you think when we get this new system in, when I start to speak, it'll just
The mistake meter?
it'll start
Or just a test pattern sound?
yeah. It'll choke me
You know
out.
what they need? The IRS. And the Indian tribe.
And I'll just be blathering away and not
You watch
realize
the video, the mouth is moving.
Yeah, the mouth's moving, and they'll be like, "What's wrong with him?" Just
That piece of software get employed every day.
Oh, and
several times a day.
All I'd say is, "What's wrong with him?"
Like Mariah Carey's alarm system.
Yeah, is it some sort of what is that? Some sort of COVID fatigue? Woo! What's
my
he got?
favorite show.
What's wrong with him?
These guys are great.
This is great.
You listen to these guys?
Yeah, I get some sort of test pattern. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what they do. Yeah. This is great new equipment we've got in here.
It's coming.